Good morning, fam. So it's been a busy couple of days, and so today we're taking a chill day. The boys are playing video games, the girls are watching a movie, and I popped in here to just do a little reflection and write in my journal. And while I was writing, I had this image that popped into my head of, when you're driving a car and that engine light comes on and it starts blinking, blink, 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 blink. And it's really annoying and you can ignore it for a while, but if you ignore it for too long, what happens? Your car breaks down. And the same is for us. When we're working on overdrive, like with a project like this 30-day challenge, it's easy for me to go into burnout because I'm just going at it and I am ignoring that blinking light, that engine light that's saying you're in overdrive, you're doing too much, you need to cool down, you need to refuel and refresh. And so I thought I'd take a moment to share with you my top 5 tips on how I prevent myself from going into overdrive and burning out. So tip number 1 is self-awareness. So how do we become more self-aware with ourselves? It is actually taking the time to reflect and write and journal. I think this is something that every creator should do. It's how we can be in sync with our emotions, in sync with our physical body, in sync with our spirituality. When all of these things are in sync, then you're balanced and you can be much more effective as a creative. But when one of these levels is not topped up, it affects everything in your life. So that's tip number 1. Start journaling, start reflecting, start being more self-aware of what your body is telling you, of what your emotions are telling you, because there will be that indicator light that pops on and starts blinking. And if you're aware of it and you listen to it, you could prevent that catastrophe from happening. So tip number 2 is vision and purpose. I think it's essential that we understand where we're going, because if we don't know where we're going, we can be working all the time in this hustle culture that we live in and then not get anywhere. And that gets frustrating if you feel like you've put in the hours, you've put in the time, and you haven't got to where you're going. But at the same time, you're not sure of where exactly you're going. Sure, maybe you're putting effort in the wrong areas. So by clarifying your vision and your purpose, it then becomes easy to create a roadmap for you to go to where you want to get. Now, when creating vision, it's super important because vision can be very big, it can be overwhelming. So it's important to create goals that are short and are easily achievable. So mini milestones within our larger vision structure. When we do this, then we can look at how far we've come along the journey. Tip number 3 is about intentionally creating pause moments. So these pause moments are like mini holidays where you step away from work, where you step away from your everyday drive stuff, and you intentionally go out of your way to say, put away your phone, put away your social media, and not look at it for a couple of days. And this can be hard to do in our current culture, in our current society, but take a weekend, take a Saturday off and don't touch your phone. Put it in a lockbox or something. This will, again, give you that space to rejuvenate, reconnect with nature, get out there, do a hike, get physical, and then you will be revitalized and ready for your next challenge. Tip number 4 is diversify your creative tasks. So what I mean by this is I am by trade an illustrator, and so 99% of the time I'm illustrating. So I'm doing client work and then I'm doing passion projects. And this, if I keep doing this constantly, it's easy for me to then get overwhelmed with it and burn out with it. And so I find it's super important for me to have other ways for me to be creative without doing that same task I'm doing at work and at a passion project. So creating other avenues where I can explore creativity. So for instance, right now, this 30-day video challenge is one example of an avenue of creative exploration. Another thing I like to do is whittling. So I do little mini sculptures, and this kind of is great because it is connected to drawing in the sense that maybe I've sketched a character and now I'm bringing it to life in 3D form. And this gives me an opportunity to step away from the laptops, step away from screens, and actually use my hands, be tactile, and let that kinesthetic side come out. And tip number 5, last but not least, is celebrate the little things. So often we reserve our celebration for those big epic moments. And yes, those big epic moments should be celebrated, but I think we should also be celebrating the little things, the tiny achievements you make. Maybe you made your drawing 2% better today. Maybe you made your video a little more cinematic. Maybe you wrote one more poem today. Either way, take the time to celebrate, because that will give you a little dopamine hit. That will give you a little boost to keep you going for the next day and the next day and the next. Celebrating the little things creates an attitude of gratitude, which combined with joy and peace allows you to be much more fruitful in what you produce. So these are my top 5 tips on how to prevent burnout. Number 1, being self-aware, so taking time to reflect and journal. Number 2, having clear vision and purpose so that you're putting your energy into the right areas so that you can move forward. Number 3 is being intentional about your pause moments so that you're taking a break from what you're doing. So number 4 is diversifying your creativity. So that's stepping away from your everyday creative tasks. So for instance, for me, it's drawing, stepping away and doing something like this. Number 5 is celebrate the little things. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.